I've seen it before.
Oh, that's a bit impressive, isn't it?
We'll discover its hidden history.
Up above us are all the shops, and down here all is quiet.
We'll catch up with old friends.
Lovely to see.
And face new challenges.
I hope we can find a mooring. If not, don't quite know what we do, really.
It's a route we've never attempted before. Jim! Jim! I'm sure we're meant to be going down there. So all may not go according to plan.
For 2,000 years, the Thames has been the gateway to London. Broad and majestic, it meanders its way through the centre of the city.
But there is another almost forgotten route, a slim sliver of a waterway that also wends its way through the heart of London. It's Canal.
It's high time we explored the rich history of the canal that's closest to our home. Our voyage begins here in southwest London, where the Grand Union Canal meets the Thames at the old port of Brentford.
There's the Thames. Looking very graceful, very beautiful this morning. And we won't be going along the Thames, we'll be going this way. This is the tradesman's entrance to London.
For 200 years, boats from Birmingham and beyond transshipped their goods onto Thames barges at Brentford. Those days are long gone, and it's now home to a new development of luxury waterside flats and a smart marina.
Morning.
Which is where our hire boat is moored. Her reconditioned taxi engine gives her a touch of authentic London.
Bit noisy, isn't she?
Yeah.
But knack to handle.
This journey includes a return leg along the tidal Thames, and it's known to narrowboaters as the London Ring. Heading east, the canal will take us through some of London's most well-known landmarks, before we turn south to where the canal meets the river again at Limehouse, and the start of our journey home.
Never been down here in my life. Curious covered arcade. Maybe it was a boat yard once. This is an echo of some industrial process years ago.
In fact, it was 1805 when this stretch was built, and it was once lined with factories that were kept supplied by the canal.
Back in the day, this was the motorway. This was the trunk route. This was the way you got from London to Midlands and vice versa. But now it does feel forgotten.
I live in the city, but I was brought up in the deepest countryside, so I love country canals. It's in my blood, which is why we've never sailed this urban route before. But its first stretch is not what I expected. We're in London. I mean,
Oh yeah,
look at that. Greenery as far as the eye can see.
As always, canal is something that you don't expect to come across on the road. It's, it's a private world. Going through places I knew much earlier in life. Hayes, when I worked at EMI.
I've lived all over London for decades, but I've never felt like a Londoner. Like my parents before me, I'm a strolling player, an actor going from job to job, place to place.
Which is why you love canals.
Yes, constantly moving on to the next town, the next lock.
Yeah. It's just a very fierce lock. It's the bottom lock of an enormous body of water, so if you open the paddles too fast, the boat crashes about all over the place, and that was what I was trying to avoid. Well, now we're at the base of the Hanwell flight of 6 locks.
Carrying cargoes to and from Birmingham, the old bargees knew this as the Thick of Hank. Today, it's a scheduled ancient monument, but it's still in good working order.
Fortunately, there are a couple of lock keepers who look as though they'd help us. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I used to have to do that.
Well,
The extra help is a chance for us to make up for some lost time.
The skipper's got us all working flat out. But it still takes us ages.
Oh, God.
Can't imagine why. Finally, we're through, and the route to central London is clear.
We're coming up to what is called the Three Bridges. It's a very complex bridge, finished by Brunel, actually. In fact, the last work, I believe, that Brunel ever did. It's a combination of road, rail, and water. Look, see the railway, and us, and the road. Yes, pretty remarkable.
West London might still throb to the sound of road and rail traffic, but on the canal all is calm, a place where nature thrives.
You can hear the noise of the North Circular. Think what a contrast life is down there in those cars with us up here, just tooling along at 4 miles an hour. Quite a sight, isn't it?
When it opened in 1801, the Paddington Arm wended its way through fields and countryside. Today, it's just a thin green corridor, slicing through the seemingly endless asphalt and warehouses of West London.
But as we inch ever closer to the inner city, there is a change of scene.
In a moment, we're going to pass Kensal Green Cemetery, which I've never realised was actually adjacent to the canal. In fact, a lot of people came by water during their funeral parties.
To come to your grave by canal, funeral procession at 4 miles an hour. I think it's
Yes, it's a gradual slowing down, but
yes.
closely for the stasis of Janet Gainsborough.
The canal runs along the edge of London's first ever private garden cemetery. Opened in 1833, it became the most fashionable burial ground in Victorian London. Like the canal, it's a haven of tranquility at the heart of the city.
Just see if we can get through this way.
These days there aren't many visitors who come by water. Yes, you can.
An amazing haven, this place. You wouldn't think you were only just a stone's throw from the Harrow Road.
Amazing.
A lot of people that I admire buried here.
The novelists Thackeray, Anthony Trollope, the engineers Brunel, father and son.
And somebody that you know about, Fanny Campbell.
Oh, bless her, is she here?
You don't find her?
Oh, I'd love to. One of my heroines, Fanny, was a talented English actress who in 1834 married an American cotton plantation owner. A journal of life on the plantation exposed the cruelty of slavery to the world. I have sometimes been haunted with the idea, and having seen what I have seen, to do all that lies in my power to show the dangers and the evils of this frightful institution. Francis and Campbell. Born, let's see, died, I can't see the dates. Oh, bless her. Just opposite is one of Tim's heroes.
Here's someone we know, Sir John Rennie, engineer of the Kennett-Navan Canal.
Oh, bless him. We've come to that stage in our lives where we've started to lose our friends. And there's one tomb we must visit.
No. Hard to believe he's not still here, isn't it?
We both performed in Harold's plays. He directed us too. He was our dear friend for 40 years.
Sad loss. And we could have gone on so much longer. Should we?
Would you like to be buried here?
I wouldn't like to be buried anywhere. It's not for me, really. I don't think. But I can see the attraction of arriving by water, going through that gate, coming here and be buried among people you knew about. What do you think?
I don't know. I can't think about it really. I think I just like a little thing in the actor's church, you know, the
Little tablet.
tablet in the actor's church.
Yeah.
That's what they're like.
Yeah. Yes, that'd be nice. Right, well, I think it's about time we got back to the canal. Have a drink.
We can't waste any more time thinking about the end. As the poet G.K. Chesterton wrote after visiting this cemetery, "For there is good news yet to hear, and fine things to be seen, before we go to paradise, by way of Kensal Green."
Look, it's nearly sunset.
Yeah,
How far have we got to go?
about another hour, I would think. Ooh.
As night draws in, the city we think we know becomes a strange and unfamiliar place. This is extraordinary coming in this time. We don't sail at night usually.
I feel like an outsider, a trespasser in the town where I live.
You have enough room, mate. You're supposed to be on the right.
I am on the right.
What do you want?
Bloody hell. How much room do you want? You see you're in London now, yes? Yes. Language is rather different.
Yes, Timmy, but where exactly in London are we? And when are we going to reach our mooring?
It's completely dark now. It's taken us a good deal longer than we thought. And I hope we can find a mooring at Paddington Basin. If not, don't quite know what we do, really.
We love canals for their peace and tranquility. Unfortunately, that's in short supply in this particular part of West London.
Yes, you get a different sort of dawn chorus beneath the M40.
I slept a bit, did you?
Yep. It's had such an urban mooring, well, ever, I think.
No, we haven't really, no.
Everyone's got places to go, jobs to do, and so have we.
Crew,
Yes,
cast off, will you?
right.
But I suspect our commute will be a little different from theirs.
It's lovely to see them walking to work now and thinking, what a boring day you're going to have in the office. Hee.
Whilst they're pinging emails over the interweb, we'll be cruising the 19th century superhighway, crossing Regent's Park through Camden Lock, before mooring up at King's Cross.
Oh, that's a bit impressive, isn't it?
Yes. Where are we?
Paddington.
We're in Paddington. I think it's quite impressive now, a bit of New York.
I wonder what this was like 50 years ago. Pretty derelict, I would expect.
Paddington was an important canal terminus. Everything that the city wanted was brought in and out of its basin. A wasteland for decades, it wasn't until 1999 that the canal was drained and redevelopment began.
When we turn the corner, we'll be meeting Andrew and Melody
Oh, good. Whereabouts are we meeting them exactly?
in Little Venice.
Oh, right. Yes. For the first leg of today's journey, Andrew Sachs and his wife, Melody, are joining us.
Lovely to see you. Be here.
Andrew is, of course, best known for his role as Manuel, the Spanish waiter in a certain Torquay hotel. Fawlty Towers was first transmitted 40 years ago, but I've been friends with Andrew for even longer.
I remember I first met you. We were in a weekly rep. You came down for one special week. And I thought, it's very young and very beautiful, and she's lovely. And I remembered you ever since.
Very good.
Dubbed Little Venice by the poet Robert Browning, this elegant stretch is where the Grand Union officially becomes the Regent's Canal.
Oh, that's cute, isn't it?
We're taking Andrew and Melody as far as Regent's Park, which gives me a chance to catch up with my old friend, who's recently written his memoirs.
That's my dad. That's me, first time in school in Berlin.
We made Fawlty Towers together back in the 70s, but sometimes I have trouble remembering the details. I'm hoping seeing Andrew will jog my memory.
Mama loves Mr. Fawlty and will do anything for him, no matter how much Fawlty abuses, insults, and hits him.
She got crazy. Crazy. I said to her, you tried to see in Donald's room, and she got crazy.
You heard?
Did it?
Oh, yes.
Oh dear.
Jesus.
I played Sybil, Basil's rather domineering wife. She was partly based on a woman I knew who ran a hotel in Eastbourne.
One of the enduring mysteries of Fawlty Towers is whether Basil and Sybil ever had sex. The general consensus is no, which would explain why Basil is perpetually frustrated.
They all think you're peculiar, you know that, don't you? They've all said at one time or another, how on earth did the two of us ever get together? Black magic, my mother says.
Well, she'd know, wouldn't she? That cat.
But it wasn't a happy marriage, was it, for you and him? He hated you in a way.
No, I suppose originally that he was quite attracted to her, and they had a bit of sex early on, you know. I think that underneath it all, she's still very attached to him, and she sort of needs him. And well, he bloody well needs her. I mean, she runs the hotel, doesn't she?
Yes, yes, she does.
But I mean, there was never any question of them actually splitting up, was there?
No.
You know.
Yeah, interesting, though.
We've now emerged into the grandeur of Regent's Park, which was laid out by the architect John Nash in the early 1800s.
Look at that house. Fabulous.
Although they look like Regency villas, these houses were in fact built in the late 1980s. But that doesn't stop them being amongst the most expensive canal-side properties in the country. Currently valued around 60 million each.
Lovely architecture.
It was originally planned for the canal to cut straight through the middle of Regent's Park. But in 1812, the wealthy new residents didn't want the working boats spoiling their view. So the canal was forced to follow the park's northern edge.
Which leads us to the location of London Zoo. Andrew's loved the zoo ever since his family moved to London before the war.
That's Snowdon Aviary.
Oh, right.
And a variety of birds. It's wonderful. Big and small.
Opened in 1828, London Zoo has straddled the canal for 188 years. It's home to over 800 species. But for me, the ones with the best home are the warthogs, who live right beside the canal.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, my darling.
Great to see you.
We leave Melody and Andrew to explore the zoo by themselves, as we must press on.
Great to see the ones.
Yes. Yeah. It's lovely when friendships like that last.
Leaving the regal splendour of Regent's Park behind, the canal begins to acquire a more bohemian air.
We're coming into Camden Lock Basin now, which is an extraordinary place now for fashion and music, but was once a major transshipment area to support the canal's
I wonder how many of Camden Market's 15 million annual visitors realise that they're shopping in a former canal-side port. For over 150 years, the buildings that now house market stalls once stored goods transported here by narrowboat from all over the country.
Through there.
Oh, right.
Dead Dog Base.
Dead Dog Base.
Yes, I don't know why, but it was where the boats came and unloaded their cargoes and put onto packs for horses.
Camden is riddled with tunnels used by pack horses to take goods to and from the canal to waiting trains or carts. There were vast stables for them, and even a horse hospital.
On the coping of that stairway, you can see marks of the horses' towing lines.
Oh, right.
That must have been a horse bridge over there.
Sadly, only tourists cross Turnover Bridge today. This once vital canal hub is now a world centre for the purchase of novelty T-shirts, vintage leather jackets and hummus wraps.
Ironically, there is no Camden Lock at Camden Lock. Its official title is Hampstead Road Lock No. 1.
I can't find the release thing.
Oh, come on, Prue. We've got to put on a good show for the Gongoozlers.
What do you think of the audience?
I don't know. They've never seen a lot before.
Yes, it's a theatre in the round, this place. Everywhere you look.
Yeah.
There's people looking down.
Should we charge?
They should charge, yes.
I'm going to need help with this gate.
Fortunately, help is at hand in the form of Maggie, who runs the local canal water bus.
Oh, how kind. Thank you so much. Why are these locks so heavy?
Well, because it was built as a working canal for working boats.
Yes.
And they are 200 years old.
I catch up with Tim at the next set of locks at Kentish Town.
Well, what are all these people? They're schoolboys.
This canal crowd are a little scruffier than usual, and so is the canal.
And it is a bit livelier than we're used to.
Well, somebody's just thrown a plastic bottle into the canal. That won't do. Naughty.
I know, but if you tell them, they will get aggressive.
Will they?
Afraid so.
That's all right. That's okay.
I'm not a big fan of this new fad for selfies. Well, it seems we've run the gauntlet at the Kentish Town lock without incident.
We're a bit scared of them.
What?
The people there.
No, not especially, no. I heard a bit of shouting and swearing, you know, but it was just like home, really.
That's my Prue. She may be only 5'2", but she's rarely intimidated by anything.
I'm nearly 5'3½", thank you.
Heading east towards King's Cross. Here, the old canal-side London has almost entirely disappeared.
Real dramatic, isn't it? I mean, this area is clearly transformed now. It's a bit posh, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, expensive flats and balconies.
The redevelopment of St Pancras and King's Cross stations has led to a canal-side property boom. Fortunately, they've retained a few of the original features.
This gas holder is, I think, listed.
Is it?
Yeah. It's rather wonderful, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Here at least, this once-forgotten waterway is definitely back on the map. Something else that's undergone a transformation is this old petrol station, which now fuels humans instead of cars.
Splendid.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you enjoying this journey through London?
Yes, I am, because it's completely different from anything we've tried to do before on the canals.
Well, it's seeing lots of London at one, isn't it?
Well, that's extraordinary, yes. As somebody who's moved about quite a lot, do you feel like a Londoner now?
Yes, I think I do, actually. Yes, yes.
I'm not sure that I do, actually.
Really?
No, when I've worked in London, I've never felt that I'd come home, you know.
Where do you feel home?
I don't feel home in that way anywhere. I just like to visit places.
I think I've always longed for a base. And in a funny way, our silly house in London, on a busy main road,
Yeah.
is that for me now. And up to a point, funnily enough, the boat, because it's my
It could be a
home.
liverboard.
Yes, it could be. Yes,
you?
it could be, yes. The canal is brilliant because it's very slow, and I've got my little nest all round me. I mean, I'm cooking. I mean, the wildlife I see from the galley is sometimes very extraordinary, you know, the otters and the foxes and the birds, obviously. I feel I'm another one of them. I'm this lady fox who's under the ground cooking for her chap.
Well, I'm glad I've got my lady fox to look after me in this strange, ever-changing city. We moored up behind King's Cross last night, outside the Canal Museum, where we enjoyed a surprisingly peaceful night.
We're in Battle Bridge Basin, Islington, and it's absolutely silent. And the reason that it's absolutely silent is, of course, there are no roads. This really was what was meant to be the road, the canal.
Shortly, we'll be departing this oasis of calm and heading further east, going underneath Islington to Hackney and beyond, past the Olympic Park, and we'll be spending our third night near Stratford. But first, a chance to find out more about life back when this was a working canal. From the curator of the Canal Museum, Martin Satch.
Good morning, Fru. Nice to see you.
These were presumably built as warehouses, were they?
Well, yes, that building over there is the bottling plant for Guinness beer.
Yes.
But nowadays it is an office building.
So what was this building? It presumably wasn't a museum originally.
Well, the London Canal Museum was originally an ice warehouse to store ice imported from Norway. It came by sea and by canal boat to this location here and stored and then delivered by horse and cart to people who needed ice.
Quite a process to have a lump of ice in your gin and tonic, isn't
It
it?
certainly is.
The boat people who delivered ice and other goods by canal kept to themselves, and records of their way of life are scarce.
In this one we see a lot of coal.
Yes.
Of course, massive amounts of coal was carried on the Regent's Canal. This picture here shows 3 boys swimming in the canal,
Yeah.
so it couldn't have been too dirty for them to swim in.
They're wonderful faces, aren't they?
And those children should not have been swimming, because it says there that bathing in the canal and trespassing on the towing path are strictly forbidden. And
Persons so offending may be taken into custody.
absolutely, and the penalty was 40 shillings. And this shows some of the families. The traditional canal costume is the bonnet.
Look at her.
That is just a canalscape.
Gosh,
It's the
yeah.
fairly uninspiring side of a canal,
Yeah.
and no estate agent would be promoting that these days, would they?
Indeed.
Great to see you too.
It's high time we got going, as today's leg of the journey includes 6 miles of canal, 9 locks, and 1 rather long tunnel.
So we're just coming up to Islington Tunnel. You can see the entrance.
Yes, right.
It's about 880 metres long. So maybe you'd like to walk over the top, would you? I mean,
Yes, all right,
Islington,
yes.
One nice day, do some shopping.
Okay, see you.
Whilst Tim heads down into the darkness, I can buy us a spot of lunch up in Islington.
Hello. Great display. Oysters. Yes, my husband likes oysters.
Oysters for your lunch? I've got some nice fin de Claire oysters.
Yes, I'll have half a dozen.
Half a dozen oysters.
But I shall have prawns.
Something like that?
Yes, oh yes, I think I can manage that, yes.
I'm always mindful of my figure, but we do need to keep our strength up for the journey ahead.
What's the most exotic cheese you have?
What about trying this? Monk's Folly.
House of Temptation. Fine chocolates. Oh dear. No, resist, come on.
This is why I love canals. I'm getting to see the secret side of London. It really is a tale of two cities.
Up above us are all the shops and cafes of Islington, and down here all is quiet.
In 1818, this tunnel was built using 4 million bricks. There was no towpath for the horses, so for the first 100 years, boats were pulled through by steam-powered tug.
Down here, boatmen were working, carrying goods to make money for the people living up there.
I did walk past the chocolate shop, but I didn't get very far.
It's really soft caramel, touch of sea salt,
Magic.
peanut butter and raspberry.
But I mustn't. I really mustn't.
How about Marmite's truffle?
Yeah, give it a go. Fascinating. Cigar leaf?
Unusual, isn't it? Would you like to try it?
Yes. Delicious. Well, I succumbed to temptation, but I'm going to give them all away. Yes. I've got your lunch. Good.
The other side of this lock is a former transport hub for the City of London. 200 years ago, City Road Basin was lined with wharves where coal and timber were offloaded. It was also home to a well-known removals firm. Just going to take a quick peek.
I'm sure I'm meant to be going down there.
What is he doing?
Sorry.
What were you up to exactly?
Down there, in that arm, that was the headquarters of Pickford's, the removal people.
Oh, right.
The
They
family.
removed back at Canal.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
From this location 200 years ago, Pickfords could deliver a package to Liverpool in just 7 days. Not bad going for the 19th century.
The afternoon is nearly done, and we're both in dire need of sustenance. So it's a late lunch for us on the Hackney Riviera.
Yum, yum, yum.
You do all that, do you? I just take the head off and go for it.
Do you? You just crunch the shell.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Only an hour or so of daylight left. There is no time to digest our food. We must press on.
Our chosen route leads us towards a remote corner of the network, a canal less travelled. Could there be a reason why?
We're just turning into the Hertford Union Canal. Canal not many people know about, also it's extremely difficult to turn into, but we will try.
Opened in 1831, the Hertford Union was never a commercial success, and the original owner went bankrupt the year after it opened.
God, you really need the winding hole, don't you? That bugger. Oh, my God. Oh, help. Ah! All right.
Yes, lucky I didn't fall in.
And I'm beginning to understand why it failed. We're through, but as the sun sets, I'm not exactly certain where we are, or when we'll reach our mooring.
With no more locks to open, there's not much I can do to help.
Well, once again we've miscalculated. Here we are in the dead of night in the East End of London. Seems a long way from Regent's Park. Seems a long way from anywhere, really.
That was the Olympic Park. So maybe this is the River Lee navigation. By night, it seems a surreal wasteland.
You wouldn't think much of this during the day, would you? But at night time it's a poem. Very impressive.
At last, I see the lights of what I think is our mooring.
I don't know where this is. Anyway, here we are. And we've got that to keep us company at night. It's good. When we wake up in the morning, perhaps we'll have a better idea where we are. If we do wake up in the morning. Good night.
It's the morning of the last day of our voyage through London's canals.
After last night's mysterious adventure, it's a surprise to wake and discover that we're moored in a rather attractive spot.
Blue sky.
Yeah.
Wonderful old building.
That's the 3 mills.
Powered by the rise and fall of the tide, Three Mills Island is home to the largest and most powerful tidal mill in the country. The current mill is 18th century, but grain has been ground on this site since Doomsday.
This is Limehouse Cut, and will take us down to Limehouse Basin and onto the Thames.
We'll follow London's oldest stretch of canal to the former Regent's Canal dock at Limehouse. Turning out onto the Thames, we'll travel upriver all the way back to Brentford to complete the London Ring.
I think I've ever seen the weed like that, making a sort of surface, like a lawn.
Leaving the 18th century mills behind, we chart a course towards the 20th century towers of Canary Wharf.
Out here the pace of change is incredibly fast, but there are a few vestiges of the old East End still visible.
Sprats.
Yes?
Hey.
In its day, Sprat's was the largest manufacturer of dog biscuits in the world.
There's all been warehouses, of course.
Are they all posh flats now, do you think?
Maybe, yes.
What about selling up in Wandsworth and moving into a canal-side apartment?
Show me one you fancy.
Look at that, 20 bottles on that balcony.
Let's have a good party.
Yeah.
It's a short run now to the point where the canal meets the river.
We come to Limehouse Basin, which was huge at one time. It would have been full of bonded warehouses and cranes unloading stuff from the seagoing ships onto the canal boats.
During the 19th century, this was the gateway into Britain. Goods were transported from here all over the country along the canal network. Ocean-going sailors were paid off at Limehouse. Many of them were Chinese who settled in the area, turning Limehouse into London's first Chinatown. It's not quite the end of our voyage, but time to stop for a pint at a traditional dockside pub, once popular with both sailors and bargees.
It also happens to be owned by an old friend of ours, Sir Ian McKellen.
On this side.
Hello, Prue. Come and sit next to me.
Lovely, thank you very much.
You're all right, yeah?
Fresh from the barge.
Fresh from the barge, yeah, well, it's a narrow boat.
Hard work, isn't it?
Hard work for the crew.
Are you put on shore and have to turn the lock?
Yes.
Really? Yeah. And you're shouting orders?
Well,
from
yes,
the-
because I mean, you need a responsible person on the pivot.
Come on, I'm allowed to take over that, right? I insist.
Welcome to the Grapes.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here. About time, too.
When did we last work together, Tim? Oh, I know, 1969.
Yes, he's right. I played Bolingbroke to Ian's Richard II.
He was only 3 at the time.
Yes.
I don't think you were born.
No, I wasn't.
When you've been living here for
I've
as
lived
long
in
as I've known you, I
Limehouse
think.
for 34 years,
Yeah.
just along this 18th century terrace.
This was apparently the pub which was the traditional place to come and refresh yourself after the long journey of the canals, and possibly to fraternise with the seamen from the big ships.
That's right. Who were docking just along in what is now Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
Walter Raleigh set sail from Limehouse Reach.
I know.
So the third voyage to America started here.
But the pub's most famous drinker wasn't a sailor, but a writer, Charles Dickens, who immortalised the pub in Our Mutual Friend.
Chapter 3. This is a little description of what could only be the Grapes. A tavern of dropsical appearance, long settled down into a state of hale infirmity. It had outlasted many a sprucer public house. Indeed, the whole house impended over the water, but seemed to have got into the condition of a faint-hearted diver who has paused so long on the brink that he will never go in at all. Oh, what a sense of humour. And Conan Doyle was down here, I suppose, mapping out Sherlock Holmes' visits. Well, he'd been going to visit the Chinese in the hopes of picking up a bit of opium.
Yes.
And now this pub is what? It's a local music, really. Quiz night on Monday, you know, that sort of thing. And I put Gandalf's staff behind the bar, and that excites something.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, we don't have any slot machines, and we don't have any music, and we don't have any television.
It's a proper pub.
So you can hear yourself talk.
No.
What's the phrase? Bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
Yeah.
Bon voyage.
It's time for us to head upriver for the last leg of our journey. But we have to change vessels first, because at present hired narrowboats are not permitted on the tidal Thames.
Careful your step. Yep, right.
Lovely.
Thanks very
You're
much.
welcome.
Lovely vessel.
Fortunately, the cruiser Chasney and her skipper Terry are allowed on the river.
And we're out onto the Thames.
Having unloaded at Limehouse, cargo ships would have turned downriver towards the sea. We're headed upstream to complete our voyage around the London Ring.
Oh, help. Quite choppy, isn't it?
Narrowboats are not designed for waters this rough, and I'm now rather glad we swapped vessels.
Timmy, look! They're lifting the bridge for us.
No, I've the feeling it's for a somewhat larger vessel.
What a splendid sight.
She's the training ship Stavros Niarchos, and is the largest tall ship built in Britain for a century. And we can sneak under the bridge at the same time.
Pretty bloody good timing, that. Probably hasn't been up in a week.
When I first came to London, nearly 60 years ago, both the city's canals and its river seemed forgotten, neglected. But look at it today.
I think one of the most exciting things that's happened during our lifetime is that people have come to love the Thames again.
Yes. The canals, I suppose, are what we call the tradesman's entrance to London.
Yeah.
And this is your actual front door,
we're on,
isn't it?
yes, so we're on the broad walk, aren't we?
Yeah.
This voyage has shown us that it's not only the Thames that's found a new purpose, new popularity. From west to east, Londoners are rediscovering their canal as well.
We've uncovered some of the city's forgotten history and glimpsed its future.
And this has been a voyage through our own past.
It's like dying, really, one's whole life passing in front of one. All the different places that we've lived in London.
All the places we've been, friends we've known.
And the friends we've lost.
Our journey has shown this country girl that London is now my city, where I belong.
Not me. I'm still the strolling player, going from job to job.
So where is home then, Tim?
With you, of course, wherever we are.
That's all right then.
Next week, a pilgrimage to the inspiration for Britain's canals. The Canal du Midi in the south of France.
Very impressive.
There'll be chateaux to explore, wine to drink.
And bridges to hit.
Oh, bugger.
À la prochaine.